Hello, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we will cover one more function for Python, which is hex. So hex function or hex method is mainly used to find the equivalent value in hexadecimal form of the input parameter. Okay, so basically what we are doing here, we are receiving some parameter, and as per the value of that parameter, we are calculating the equivalent hexadecimal value. Okay, so whenever there is a requirement where you need some data in hexadecimal form, then you can simply use this method, and the syntax of this method is quite simple. You just need to write hex, then inside parentheses you can pass that value for which you want to calculate the hexadecimal value. Here I have noted down few scenarios, so one by one we will go through it and we'll see how it works. Okay, so for the first scenario, you can see that we are storing one value as 42 in value variable. So my variable name is value and we are storing 42 here. Now on line number 9, what we are doing, we are using this hex function to convert this value into hexadecimal form. So once this line number 9 got executed, it will return the hexadecimal value of 42 into this result variable, and then we are simply printing it. Okay, so let's save this program and let me run this program on terminal. So I will write here Python space session 54.py. So if I hit enter here, you can see it prints multiple output, but for now we will just focus on the first one. So if you look at the first output, it is returning 0x2a, which is the equivalent hexadecimal value of value 42. Okay, now look at the second scenario. In second scenario, we are storing the value but in negative, right? You can see this value is stored in negative form, so minus 42. And if you would like to calculate some hexadecimal value of this kind of negative value, then you can perform the same with the help of hex function. So it is converting this value into minus 0x2a, okay, which is the equivalent value of minus 42 in hexadecimal. Now look at the third scenario. Here what we are doing, we are storing a large digit 987654321, and we are trying to convert this value into hexadecimal. So same syntax we are using here. We are just converting it to hexadecimal, and the resultant value is 0x3ADE68B1. Okay, now look at the fourth scenario. Here we are trying to fetch the hexadecimal value but for 0. So is it possible? Yes, it is possible. If you are passing 0 as a parameter for converting it to hexadecimal, then you will get the value as 0x0. Okay, fine. Now look at the fifth scenario. Here I am passing the value hex as 42. So but you can see here I'm not using any kind of variable, I'm directly passing the value. So is it possible? Yes, it is also possible. So if you want to pass any value directly to this parameter, you can pass. So as I am passing it here 42, so whatever the resultant value we are getting here is 0x2a. So you can see the first scenario, where you pass the same value but in variable 42, right? So it is returning 0x2a. But when we are passing it directly, then also it is working same, because we are just passing the value directly. Fine. Now what will happen if I pass something which is not a convertible? It means I'm trying to pass ABC, and which I want to convert in hexadecimal, but it is not the correct value. We know that, right? So if I run this program, in this case it should give error, and we are getting this error because str object cannot be interpreted as integer, and that's why we are getting error. So it is a mandatory thing, like whenever you are using hex function, you have to pass only that value which can be converted to hexadecimal value, otherwise it will give this kind of error. Okay, so mainly we use this hex function whenever there is a requirement to convert your data. Let's say if you are storing some data and you want to store the data in the form of hexadecimal values, then in that case you can simply go and use this hex function. I hope it is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.